Hello and welcome to Friday's Masterclass edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be attempting a puzzle by the former Times Crossword editor today, Richard Browne. Richard is sort of as close to a doyen of the crossword world as you can possibly get. Absolutely phenomenal person and setter and solver and actually there's a bit of a spoiler here. I'm just going to click on Times Concise number 10,000, which appeared yesterday. So if you haven't solved this yet, don't pay too much attention to what I'm about to show. Oh, you can't see, but it says here, Times Concise number 10,000 by Richard Browne, who was the editor of the Concise puzzle, I think, from 1993 to 2003. John Grimshaw, whose puzzle we solved, was it last week? 2003 to 2023, and then David Parfitt, who's the current editor of the Concise. And if you have a look at this grid, there may be more to it than this, but you can see in the unchecked letters going across, it says TIMES, and in the unchecked letters in the bottom row, 10,000. Isn't that lovely? Absolutely. Oh, and concise. Oh, hang on, there's more. Concise going through the middle. I didn't see that when I solved this yesterday. There may even be more. These are very, very clever people, so there could even be more. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful stuff. Anyway, this Richard is the author of today's Cryptic, and the snitch rating, for those of you who care about such things, is just a smidge harder than average. So not too bad for a Friday. Often on Friday we get something monstrous, but today, hopefully, it won't be too bad. So if you are relatively new to cryptic crosswords, this might be one that you get to solve for the first time. Do give it a go. Now, have I got a dictionary? The answer is yes. I've got some birthdays to do today in the crossword video, so let me just have a look at those. We'll start off by saying a very happy birthday to one of our younger viewers, Benjamin, who's turning 12 on Sunday down there in rural Queensland, Australia. And Benjamin, I know it's your birthday because your dad Paul wrote in and wanted to wish you a happy birthday from him, your mum, and your sister Hannah. And well, I'm frankly, Benjamin, I'm thrilled that people of your age are watching these videos. I know you're getting on very well with the quick cryptic, so keep going. You'll crack one very soon, I've no doubt. And best of luck in the Ashes, but not too much luck, obviously. Next, Jeremy, it's your birthday. Actually, when your birthday was yesterday, I think you turned 35 yesterday. I know this because your partner Katie wrote to me. Well, Jeremy, I owe you some thanks for introducing Katie to the channel and these wonderful puzzles that we get to solve. And I know the two of you are still working on completing your first puzzle, your first Times Cryptic crossword. So today might be the day. Give it a good go. Best of luck, and I hope the chocolate cake is good, obviously. And then finally, Simon, your best friend of 22 years, Megan, wrote to me to tell me it's your birthday. Your birthday is today, and you've been watching the channel to wind down before bed. This is the soporific effect I have on people. I'm uniquely gifted in the it seems, in boring people to sleep. I never intended. I didn't ask for these powers. Anyway, Simon, I hope you have a great birthday. I hope the chocolate cake is good, and I hope you're not asleep as I'm reading this message. Now, what else can I tell you about? Over on Patreon, we've got lots of extra crossword content for those of you who are interested in such things. There's listener solves by both me and by Mark. And actually, some of you may enjoy Mark's connection videos as well, where he tackles the New York Times connections puzzle every day. So that's over there. But I think we're ready, aren't we? So let's get cracking. Let's have a go at the Times crossword. That is the right one, isn't it? And I will talk you through my thoughts such as they are. Right, one across, 8 letters. Dynamism versus current inanity leaving university. Now, a quick refresher for those of you who might be brand new to cryptic crosswords. Every single one of these clues can be divided into 2 pieces, basically. There will be a quick crossword definition, And I literally mean that. If we were brilliant at reading these clues correctly, we could distill this puzzle into a quick crossword. And so in this clue, the quick crossword element is normally at the start or the end. So it's probably the word dynamism. It probably is the word dynamism. It could be the other side, leaving university or university. I think it's more likely to be dynamism for reasons we'll come on to. Because you may say, okay, if you're telling me that one bit of the clue is a quick crossword definition, what's the rest of the clue? The rest of the clue is a recipe that tells you how to concoct the answer from wordplay. So it might say, put a word into another word. It might say, look at these letters and anagram them. It might say, the answer sounds a bit like this word. And the skill, I think, most of the skill of these puzzles is learning how to read the clues, read those recipes correctly. So knowing that, let's look at this clue again. Dynamism versus current, inanity, leaving university. Okay, I don't know what this is, but the reason I think it might be an 8-letter word that means dynamism is the rest of the clue, it feels like I can read it as a recipe. So versus, I really want that to be V because, because it's a very normal abbreviation. If you were looking at a football match, Liverpool v Everton, you would know exactly what the V meant, wouldn't you? And just for those of you who are brand new, any abbreviation, you can't just abbreviate the word leaving in this clue to L, because if we go to L in the dictionary, we'll see a whole load of words listed. So L can be an abbreviation for all these words, and there's going to be more, loads and loads of different words, but leaving is not one of them. Now, unfortunately, to get really good at the puzzles, you are going to have to be familiar with a lot of the abbreviations, but a lot of them you'll come across in real life, so you won't be surprised to know that if we go to V in the dictionary, versus is going to be there. V is one of those letters that doesn't have too many abbreviations, but there, versus is there. So V, so dynamism, could it be something like virality or vitality even? Vitality. Oh, it's something like that. Current. Let's look at the word current, because this is another good crossword word. Current can be abbreviated to I. And you may, if you're new to these puzzles, you may just think, this is nonsense. How can it possibly be abbreviated to I? Well, it's Ohm's law. If you remember your physics from school, V equals IR. Volts equals amps times resistance or something. So current, of course, is measured, a measure of, or amps are a measure of current. So I, if we go to our dictionary, let's check I. Oh, I still haven't got the new dictionary, have I, Shane? I'm so sorry if you're watching this video. Shane will be cross with me. I'm meant to be getting the new dictionary. Oh, there we go, electric current. So this could be VI, inanity, that's sort of like stupidity, isn't it? Leaving university. So it feels like if we can think of a word that means inanity, that's 7 letters, and that's going to leave U, which is a valid abbreviation for university, out of it. Can we vitality? Can we put a U into that? Utility or something? No, inanity. Dynamism. Virtuosity. Dynamism. It feels like it should be vitality. Why can't I see why it is? Oh dear, that's appalling. If it is vitality and I can't see the 7-letter word that consists of the letters tality and U, isn't that awful? Oh, I don't know. Okay, let's see if we can justify the V. Moving swiftly on. 1 down. 6 letters. Possibly beginning with V. Confirm. Uncertainty really is inhibiting. Really is. Yeah, okay, that's very well worded. Confirm uncertainty really is uninhibiting. Now, if you are doing these, if you're not used to these clues, force yourself to pause the video. Force yourself to commit to what you think the definition is in this clue. Do you think it's confirm, or do you think it's inhibiting? It's very often going to be the start or the end of the clue. Now, if you think it's confirm, well done, you're correct. It is. And that's because we can read the rest of the clue as a recipe. How do we read it such? Because it's not easy to read this one. Uncertainty really is inhibiting. And what this is saying is we need to think of a short word that means really, and that's going to inhibit, it's going to stifle, it's going to surround a very short word that means an uncertainty. And an uncertainty is an if, believe it or not. And the word that means really, if something's really good, it's very good. And if we put if in very, we can create verify, and to confirm is to verify. It's lovely, isn't it? Really well worded, not desperately easy to understand, but we were actually helped by the V that I don't actually know. Well, I guessed might exist in one across, although I don't know the answer. Let's have a look at 9. So you can see this is a 2-word clue. So almost all 2-word clues, literally it's going to be, we're going to cut the clue between the word scrap and the word paper, and we're going to be looking for a word that means scrap at the same time as it means paper. So can you think of a 3-letter word that means both scrap and paper? And if you thought of rag, you're right. A scrap of cloth would be a rag, wouldn't it? And a poor quality paper would be a rag. So double definition. And let's try 2. Oh no, I should try the one where I've got starting letter. Let's try 12 across. 4, 6. Tire, indicating one's leaving patriotic display. I can think of a phrase for a patriotic display that would go in there. Yeah, that's fine. So we are looking for a patriotic display. Now, can you think of a word that means tire? If you tire, you flag, don't you? And if you indicate to somebody you're leaving, you might be waving. So flag waving, patriotic display. Not too bad. Now this could be pageant. Let's hope. No, it's not. Although, look at that last word there. That's an interesting. So 2 down, 7 letters. Half in vain, perhaps. Ulysses is a wanderer. So it seems to be some sort of allusion to the Greek classics, doesn't it? Remember, the surface reading of clues is so often deeply unhelpful, because the constructors take pleasure in conjuring up these images in your mind that are completely distracting and often nothing to do with the answer. And that is definitely the case here. If you're thinking of Ulysses and sort of, the siege of Troy and things like that, that's not going to help you solve this clue. So what do you think we're looking for here? Which part of this clue is the definition? Hopefully you're looking at this collection of letters and you're thinking you might know a word for wanderer that fits. And if you do, you might also smile, because you might understand the wordplay. Half in vain is literally saying take half of the word vain. Now that could be either half, it could be VA or IN, but here it's VA. And Ulysses is not the Greek hero, it's Ulysses S. Grant. So, a bit different. And we can create vagrant, of course, and a vagrant is a wanderer. So this is vivacity, is it? Dynamism, vivacity. So, vacuity is the... Okay, I'll forgive myself for not thinking of vacuity, for the inanity. So, the 6-letter word for inanity, I think, is vacuity, which has lost its U. So I'm not going to change that answer. So I am prepared to look up vacuity, which is not a word that was on the tip of my tongue. Vacuity, there we go. Emptiness. Not tricky, but very gettable. I should really have got it, shouldn't I? Once I knew it started or thought it started with VI, but I failed. Never mind. 3 down is 10 letters beginning with C. Fish. Take food almost on top of pond. Nonsense. Okay. Can you think of a word for nonsense that might fit there? One of my favourite words, really. I used to live in the north of England, and this was a popular word. I mean, we said this word most days. Codswallop is what we're looking for there. Codswallop. Now, I haven't worked out really how the wordplay works, so let's see if we can do that. Fish, presumably cod. Take food almost. If you take food, you swallow, and the word almost is saying, okay, we almost take the whole of the word swallow, so we don't take the final letter. Now, I've talked about this a bit over the past few weeks. If you ever get an instruction in a cryptic crossword to sort of shorten a word, so the word almost is doing that duty here, but it could equally have been the word cut or short or something like that. It always means cut the last letter off. So don't worry if you're looking at these clues and thinking, oh, I've got to shorten a word for, it could be a 7-letter word and I might only want the first 4 letters of it. No, it'll never work like that. If you need 6 letters, you'll be looking for a 7-letter word that's 1 short, if you see what I mean, and it'll always be the final letter that's taken off. So swallow, and then the top of pond is the top letter of the word pond, which is P. So I think in a down clue we can refer to the top of the word pond as a P. So codswallop there for nonsense. Let's have a look at 4 down, 13 letters. Fundraising preacher tells e.g. native to convert. Okay. Again, make yourself do it. Do you know what the definition is here? The clue, if you do think it's the start of the clue, you're quite right, because this word convert, if you see references in clues to converting things, to blowing things up, to scrambling things, to mixing things, these are all likely to be anagram indicators. So convert is sort of shrieking, okay, we're going to be converting some of the letters before this word. Now we need 13 letters, and you can see tells e.g. native, that is 13 letters. Now if that's true, the definition is actually fundraising preacher. And this is, I think, therefore, a televangelist. I don't spell that word very often, but I think it probably is like that. Televangelist. We don't get many televangelists here in the UK. I think they're more of an American thing, but there we go. I'm pretty sure that's the answer. Look, 15 across. Well, I can only think of one word that can fit there. Is that right? Oh, no, it wasn't. I thought it was going to be stolen. It's not stolen. Right, 6 letters. War leader, large in colour. So, I mean, you've probably got this looking at the letters we've got. But if you have got it, make yourself justify it. Make yourself explain why is the answer what you think it is. And hopefully you're all thinking the answer is Stalin. Now, why is it Stalin? Well, the L here in the clue is an abbreviation for large. Now, if we go to my dictionary, it's not there. I believe it is in the new dictionaries, but it's certainly a valid abbreviation for L, in the sense that we would all recognise it. If we saw L on a t-shirt label, you would know exactly what it meant. It would mean it's a large size. And similarly for small, if we look under S in the dictionary, we won't find small listed, but it is a valid abbreviation in the Times, and I think that's completely fair, because everyone understands why it's a valid abbreviation. And what the colour here is not a colour as in red, purple. If you colour something, you stain it. So L goes into Stain, creating Stalin, of course, the war leader of Russia. Now, let's try. Should we go for 10 across, 11 letters? Act of removing constant cheers interrupts enjoyment. Act of removing constant cheers interrupts enjoyment. Okay. I haven't got this yet, but I'm fairly confident I know what some of the bits of it are. And in terms of what I think the 11-letter word means, what's the quick crossword part of this? I think it's going to be act of removing. And that's because of this phrase, interrupts enjoyment. I could be wrong, actually, because you could read it either way. But the bits of this that I'm fairly confident about, constant cheers. You might think, oh, that's a lot of people screaming and flag waving. No, I think it's going to be constant is very likely to be C, as in a sort of mathematical constant. And then cheers, I think, is going to be thank you. If you say cheers to someone, you say thank you. What's the shortest way you could say thank you to somebody? It would be to say tar, T-A, and that comes up in crosswords a lot. So I'd be quite surprised if in the middle of this clue there isn't a sort of trigram, C-T-A. Now, act of removing, is that deleting then? Is it something like delectable? Enjoyment. The other thing I keep thinking is delight is enjoyment, isn't it? But delight's only 7 letters, and my constant cheers is 3 letters, and that wouldn't get me up to the right number of letters. Deletion is 8 letters. Yeah, that is an act of removing, a deletion. So, right, so if we put delectation, is that what we're doing here? Yeah, okay, so I was totally wrong in how I read this. But you can read it either way. So the way you're meant to read it is act of removing is a deletion. You can see D very specifically here, D-E-L-E-T-I-O-N. And constant cheers, our CTA trigram, interrupts that word for the act of removing. Now, of course, it would have been completely valid from a cryptic crossword perspective for the CTA to interrupt an 8-letter word for enjoyment to give an 11-letter word meaning act of removing. But we can be confident this is the answer because it gives a word, and it's very unlikely that there is a second solution to this. It would be particularly devious if that was the case, but I would be most surprised. Let's go to 11 down. It's another long answer. 13 letters beginning with C. Getting better. Clubs deceptively conceal 7. Okay, so knowing what we've learned already, when we looked at this clue, which part of the clue, which word was really suggestive? It was the word convert, wasn't it? Looking at this clue, can you see a word that is doing that sort of job? Deceptively. Deceptively is very likely to be an anagram indicator. So this is a 13-letter word. It means getting better. Clubs is this C here. And that's from card suits. It's from bridge scoring. So clubs will be C, S for spades, diamonds D, H hearts. And then deceptively, we're going to treat conceal 7, which is 12 letters, deceptively. And it looks to me like it's something like convalescence. Getting better would be convalescence, probably. I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't often check off the anagrams, but it seems unlikely there'll be another answer there. Now, let's keep going with these first letters. So 20 across, 6 letters. Determined where this carnivore lurks. Well, okay. I can think of an answer to this. Now, these were always my favourite clues when I started to solve cryptic crosswords, which was probably around the age of Benjamin, actually, who turns 12 on Sunday. This, I think, is probably a hidden, i.e. the answer that we're going to write in here is literally spelt out in the clue. Now, if the constructor hides the answer in the clue, they have to tell you they're hiding it, they've hidden it in the clue. So let's read this and see how grammatically it could make sense that there is an answer hidden in this clue. Determined. So the way you're meant to read this is the word determined is where, so hidden in the word determined is where the answer, which is a name of a carnivore, is lurking. So this is a clue where we're not going to find the definition as the first word or the last word. And this word, this, is sort of saying this carnivore. So the answer, this is a carnivore that is lurking within the word determined. And I can see ermine in there, which is some sort of stoat, isn't it? That's probably wrong. But it certainly is a nice fur, isn't it? Why have I looked up stoat? I meant to look up. Oh, there you go. Ermine is a stoat. Okay, that's good. The white fur. The stoat's winter coat. So ermine, stoats are carnivorous. So that is going to be correct. Let's look at 16 across, beginning with A. 7 letters. One allowed into cycling eliminator. One allowed into cycling eliminator ? Okay. I have no idea what this is. But I think this might be a so-called and lit clue. What does that mean? It's a very rare type of clue, and it's like a brilliancy of the constructor, because if it is an and lit, the whole clue will be the recipe. So we'll have to read the whole clue as a recipe. But that whole clue, if we read the whole clue, it'll also be a definition of the answer. So the whole thing does double duty. It's and that's why it's very hard to make such a clue. But one allowed. Oh, it could be athlete then. Oh. Yes, it is athlete. Good grief. Right. Okay, I'm just going to write athlete in and try and explain why I think this is the answer. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky for me to explain this, but what we have to do is think of a short synonym for the word allowed. And the shortest synonym is going to be, actually, you could use okay. That would be a definition of allowed. If something's okay, it's allowed. But I've thought the other word is let, and that's there. So allowed, let, is going into cycling eliminator. How on earth is that giving ATHE? This is really hard. So don't worry if you think, oh my goodness, this is really difficult. It is difficult. But if a word, and we're going to cycle here the word heat, HEAT, which is an eliminator. An athletic eliminator is a heat. We've got the heats of the 100 meters. But if the word letters of heat cycle, you would put the last letter to the start, and then you put the the new last letter to the start again, and that would create ATHE out of the word heat. So the word heat has cycled, letters been put inside it, and one who was allowed into a cycling eliminator would be an athlete. Now, the question here is, what is the word one doing in the clue? And it's helping the whole clue to act as the definition. Or you could read it as saying, we've got one word for allowed, which is the word let, in the cycling eliminator, to allow the and lit to work. So it's perfectly fair, but it is hard. It's hard for me to be certain whether to describe this as a semi-andlet or an actual andlet. That's the only thing I'm sort of thinking about in my brain. But it's a very clever clue and not an easy one. Let's try 14 down, 10 letters. Wine box in bedroom. Wine box in bedroom. I know what I want it to be. I don't know, wine. I can only think of one thing it probably is. I'm not sure I quite understand it. So I'm thinking of the word chamber pot. Surely one of the most revolting creations in the whole of human history. Chamber pot. I mean, no, it can't be that. It could be the name of a grape, like Chardonnay or something, that I'm just not thinking of. Champagne? See, a bedroom, I think, is going to be a chamber. So I'm looking for a 3-letter word for a box that possibly might be inside the word for chamber, that's going to give me the name of a wine. Not sure. Let's try 21 down. 7 letters. Foreign wood carving wins British prize at last. Foreign wood carving. Oh, I hope it's not. Oh, there are some. It could be. There are some funny Japanese words for like Japanese arts and crafts. Origami is one I'm sure we're all familiar with. There's ikebana, and there might be netsuke as well. Netsuke. Why would that be? It's got UK in it. Netsuke, is that a... Wins British? Oh, I suppose, yes, okay. Foreign. So let's assume that foreign wood carving is saying Japanese wood carving, and that's defining netsuke. I'm probably saying netsuke as wrong as well, because I've got no idea how to pronounce it. But wins, if you win something, you net it, don't you? Your winnings are your sort of net. Wins, nets. They are definitely synonymous in my mind. British is UK, and prize at last is the last letter of the word prize, so that does build the word netsuke. So let's look up netsuke and see if I've made it up. No. A small Japanese carved ornament, once used to fasten small objects to a sash. So that's lovely, isn't it? Netsuke. So it's not really, it's not like ikebana, which is, I think, is the craft. Yeah, flower arranging. The art of flower arranging, or origami. That was one of the things. Mark and I went to Tokyo actually earlier on in the year to do some AI work, and there's things like there's origami museums there. I mean, isn't that a fantastic thing that there exists on the planet? An origami museum is something that I'm quite delighted by, for reasons I can't quite articulate. Anyway, let's have a look at 27 across. 3 letters. One student finally leaves here. Yeah. What do you think the answer is? You read the clue. What do you think the answer is? You're probably right. Then it's a case of justifying it. So if you're thinking about where a student might leave, they might leave a university. But why? What justifies that? Because remember, There aren't going to be any just straightforward quick crossword clues in this. There'll always be a recipe. It might just be hard to see. So what we're looking to do here is to find a 4-letter word that means one, and that is the word unit. And student finally is saying the letter T, that is the final letter of the word student, and that's going to leave the word unit to give uni. And again, Richard uses here question mark to refer to the fact that now you can read the whole clue as a whole, and the context of that whole clue will explain why the answer is uni, a bit like with this one where the word one did the same duty. I've noticed this one has an N for its second word. Should we check this one out? 26 across, 8-3. Doctors left a person with temperature a shield against infection. That's a brilliant word, brilliantly worded clue, because it sounds like it could be a sentence. The doctors left a person with temperature a shield against infection. It's I don't know what it is, but I think it's going to be something net. It feels like it's going to be a word, something to do with the internet to me, a shield against infection. Doctors left a person with temperature a shield. Bobbins. Okay, I don't know what that is then. That's very poor. Oh, hang on. If it was chamber pot, that would be a P. Nap. Nip, nop, nup. No. Alright, I was going to go for 22 down. Is that just silly? Oh, I could go for 24 across. Let's look at this one. 10 letters. When it snows, perhaps, burying revolutionary's rifle. Okay. Lovely clue. And one I actually know the answer to. And the way I got this one is this word revolutionary. Now, if you're thinking, oh, revolutionary, that might refer to having to revolve some letters to turn them round. That's a brilliant thought. And it's exactly the way you should be thinking if you're trying to solve these clues. However, revolutionary is one of these words that's become crosswordese. If you see revolutionary in a cryptic crossword, it's either going to be the word red, as in, I think that must go back. Does that go back to communists being thought of as red and revolutionary? I'm not actually sure of the reason that red and revolutionaries are synonymous in crossword worlds. But the other reason, the other word that we're going to see as matters here is Che, for Che Guevara. So Che Guevara makes a regular appearance in cryptic crosswords, and we're going to put him there. And what we're looking for actually is the name of a rifle. And when does it snow, perhaps? Well, it snows in the season of winter. Oh, so the revolutionary is Che apostrophe S. You see the apostrophe S here? That matters. That's that S there. And that gives us Winchester, which is a type of rifle. Let's go for 22 down now. 6 letters. Drinks all day, then falls down. Yeah, okay, that's great. That's a brilliant clue. It's a brilliant clue. It conjures up another image which we have to discard. The difficult part of this clue is splitting it in the correct place. So, make a decision. What do you think the definition is here? And those of you who say the definition is drinks are so nearly correct, but it's not right. The actual definition here is drinks all. So we're looking for a word for if you drink it all. And if you drink all of your glass, you drain it, don't you? So we're actually looking here for the word drains. And the reason that all is important is the recipe, we've got day, which is this D here, then a 5-letter word which means falls down, and that's rains. So D plus rains equals drinks all, drains. Very nice. Now let's have a look at this one. 8 letters. Shabby state of girl in disorder. Okay, I haven't got this yet, but I might. Shabby. I haven't quite got this yet, but the way I'm reading it is I suspect we're looking for a word that means shabby state. And that's going to be made out of, like messiness, for example, which is the wrong number of letters, but a word like that. So I'd be very surprised if this doesn't end in ness. And that's going to be made out of, so this of here I think is going to be doing the duty of an equal sign. So it's saying shabby state is equal to a 4-letter word for a girl in a word for disorder, which I suspect is mess. So shabby state is, if you're in a shabby state, you're in a state of Why is your brain so ineptly stupid, Simon? Shabby state, state of... I don't know. Okay, so everything I've just told you might be total and utter rubbish, because I can't see what the answer is there. Shabby state. Okay, so maybe it is a state of... Is it meanness? Anne could be the girl. If you treat someone shabbily, you are mean to them, aren't you? I've been thinking of messy, shabby state, something that's a bit tatty, but maybe it's meanness. Okay, so is this Chambertin or something, isn't it? That's a word. Yeah, I think there's a type of wine called that, Chambertin. And that would be a chamber tin for a box in the bedroom. That makes sense, doesn't it? So I'm not going to change that, but I'm going to look it up because I'm not really familiar with it. There we go. A dry red Burgundy from the vineyard of that name near Dijon. It's really cool. Every day, even though I've been doing these puzzles for decades, and even though I may know this is a word, when you actually look it up in the dictionary, it still has the ability to make you smile. Now let's go back to this one. This is something net then. A shield against infection. Doctors left a person. It's not an anagram, is it? It could be an anagram of... No, it's not. Well... Oh, Maverick's about to fly over. I'm trying to construct my 11-letter anagram fodder and make sure I've got enough, or make sure I can split the clue as well. Now, I'm almost certain that I'm going to split the clue after that letter A here. So I think we're looking for a phrase that means shield against infection. Now, if that is true, we have to ask ourselves what the letter A is doing in the clue, because it won't be there redundantly. And if we read the clue again, doctors left a person with temperature shield against infection, it retains all the meaning as doctors left a person with temperature a shield against infection. So this A has to be justified, and the only justification for it is that it's necessary for the recipe. So now I'm wondering, can I get the right number of letters here? Let me just think this through. Sorry. I can get 8, 9. I can only get 10. Unless I could use the S. Right. This might be wrong, but one way I could read the clue. Imagine the word doctor was an anagram indicator, was telling us to doctor some letters. Then doctor, we could be doctoring the S that's after the apostrophe here, an L, which is a valid abbreviation for left, the letter A, the word person, with, not the word with, but also T, which is a valid abbreviation for temperature, and the A that I think is necessary for the wordplay. And that would give us 11 letters. SL. A shield against infection. So hang on, let's just put some of this in. SLAPER. Oh, have we not got enough T's, have we? No, I have not got. That doesn't work. Sorry. Yeah, I've got 2 T's at the moment. Unless that isn't televangelism or something, is it? No. Okay, so that idea is wrong about how to construct an anagram. We're going to have to get some more letters. Okay, that's fine. Is this tadpole? I doubt it, but let's go. 18 across, 7 letters. Turn out chasing a parking permit. Yeah, lovely clue again. Make your decision. What do you think the definition is in this clue? Do you think it's turn? Turn out? Parking permit? Permit? It's actually just the word permit. Now how does the recipe work then? Turn out chasing. Now if you're thinking, oh Simon, could that be an anagram of turn afterneath what? After A and P perhaps for parking? Nearly. Because out is a valid anagram indicator, so is turn. So maybe we could be anagramming out after the end of something. But actually, we want a 5-letter word that means turn out. And that 5-letter word is going to chase A and P for parking, which is a valid abbreviation. So can you now see what this is likely to be? It's going to mean permit, it's approve. And if you turn out and prove are synonymous, aren't they? If something proves to be something, it turns out to be that. So let's go for 19 down. 7 letters. He painted a little chicken. Is that? I don't know. I have a memory that that's the name of an artist. It's also the French word. No, actually, is it the French word for a little chicken? Poulet is the French word for a chicken, isn't it? So poisson. I think it might be that. I could be totally wrong about that. Let's leave it in and see if the checking letters are justified. I think it's a double definition if so. I think it's a French painter and a word for a little chicken, but that could be absolute rubbish. 4 across. 4 across? 23 across, 4 letters. Shock. Almost attacked by B. Okay. Now, what do you think this is? If you're attacked by a bee, what would happen? You would be stung. And almost, we saw it earlier, didn't we? If you take almost all of a word, you only cut off the last letter. That's going to create the word stun. And if you shock something, you stun it. So that's looking very good for my poisson or poussin. No, it must be poisson. Actually, I'm not sure. Now I'm poisson. Poisson. Is that a fish? I don't know. Now I'm going mad. Let's have a look at 17 down. 8 letters. Released. Travelled quite a distance in the van. Released. Travelled quite a distance in the van. Yeah, it's another very well-worded clue, isn't it? It sort of conjures up an image of a prisoner who's been released and then travels quite a long way in the van. But the way I'm reading it, and this might be wrong, but the way I'm reading it is, in the van is, to me, in a cryptic crossword sense, means at the front. If you're in the vanguard, you're at the front. So in the van, I think we might be looking for quite a distance somehow, at this, like far, or maybe this begins FAR. And then we look, so then there's going to be, the end of this string is going to be a word that means travelled. And the whole thing might mean released. I haven't got it. Let's go for 28, 6 letters. Temptingly hold out diamonds with devious motive. Temptingly hold out. If you temptingly hold something out, you sort of bait something, don't you? You lure them. You entice them. Temptingly hold out diamonds with devious motive. Devious motive. Okay, I have got this one. The other thing you do when you temptingly hold something out is you dangle something in front of someone, don't you? And that I can explain. Diamonds, we looked at one of the suits earlier. Was it C? I can't remember. Was it that one? Yeah, clubs. So diamonds can be D. And if you have a devious motive, you have an angle. And dangle, temptingly hold out. Now let's go for this one. 25 down, 4 letters. Fine internet address roll up. Yeah, okay. So, I mean, it's a strange one, this. I think it's from, is it from pencils? But F can be an abbreviation for fine. Yeah, there we go. Fine on lead pencils. So F, an internet address. I think it's going to be a URL. And a furl, if you roll something up, you furl it. So, what is this? Doctors? Oh, mosquito net. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay. We're going to have to talk about this. Mosquito net. So, when you see the word doctor, you could do what I did, which is assume it's an anagram indicator. It can also be a number of abbreviations. So the typical ones would be GP, general practitioner, DR, just doctor. Now the less well-known ones, but they still come up, MO, medical officer. So we've got medical officer, apostrophe S, so that's probably this S, left, quit, a person. A person is one here. So a person is defined as one, and then with temperature, T. And interestingly now, this A in the clue, it is part of the definition, a shield against infection. And that's interesting. That's interesting and misleading to me. I would have not had an A there. And that's probably more fool me. But mosquito net is the shield against the infection that we're looking for. Now, can we get this one done? What are we looking for? Oh, ransomed, released. Oh, this is really good. This is really good. It is ransomed. Travelled, ran, quieter. Some is a. If you went quite a way, you went some way, didn't you? And then distance in the van, it wasn't saying put a word for distance at the head of the clue or head of the answer. It was saying look at the word distance and take its first letter. Distance in the van is saying take the head letter of the word distance. So let me just show you why van can mean sort of the first or the head letter. So this is the classic definition, and that's not what we're looking for. Here, short for vanguard. And if we look under vanguard, the foremost, the forefront of something. So this is why distance in the forefront is the first letter of the word distance. Ransomed. And we've just got the northeast corner to do. Should we go for 6 down? 4 letters. 1 of 50 in uniform, tipped cap. 1 of 50 in uniform, tipped cap. Oh. Yeah, okay. Not an easy clue, but a very good one. What do you think the definition is? Now, if you think the definition is cap, I think that might show that you're really getting a long way with your cryptic crossword solving, because it isn't. But it so could have been. When I read the clue, I thought it was cap. But the thing I got fixated on was, what is 1 of 50 doing? When I see 50 in a cryptic crossword clue, I immediately think it's the Roman numeral for the number 50, which is L. But that would just be defined as 50. What's 1 of 50? What is that intended to say? Now, what do we know in the world around us that has 50 things? It's not going to be a deck of cards that's got 52 things. What has 50 things? There are 50 ways to leave your lover, so it could have been one of those. But get out. Make a new plan, Stan. No, so it could have been plan. Oh, that would have been festively epic. But it isn't. No, I think what it is a reference to one of the 50 states of America. So it's the name of a state. Now, there aren't so many states with only 4 letters. One of them is Utah. And now it all becomes clear. 1 of 50, Utah. In uniform, uniform can be U, and a tipped cap question mark. A cap is a hat, and it's tipped up because it's a down clue. If we tip something, it's a reversal. Utah is the answer. Very clever clue, not desperately easy. Let's have a look at this one. 6 letters, 5 across. Diver almost out of breath. Okay. So we've looked. Was almost? Well, we saw almost. Where was almost used as a shortening? Or am I totally misremembering? I'm sure it was. I now can't see the clue that I want to bring to your attention. Bobbins. Where was it? Was it? Oh, was it that one? Almost. Yeah. And we saw it somewhere else as well. I can't remember where. But we should look. Actually, hang on. Let's just look up this name of the chicken. So, a chicken reared for eating at 4 to 6 weeks old. A small whole. How do you say it? Poussin. Served as an individual, and I'm pretty certain it's the name of a French painter as well. So that's all fine. But anyway, almost, we know, means you take most of a word. So here we're looking for a 7-letter word that might be a word for a diver, and then we're looking for a 6-letter word which means out of breath, or it could work the other way round just as well. We could be looking for a 7-letter word which means out of breath, and we cut off its last letter, and we get the name of a diver. Now, when you see diver in cryptic crosswords, don't be thinking of somebody cliff diving. It's not going to be a human diver. It's going to be a bird that's a diver. And that might give you a clue as to the answer, which I think is going to be a puffin. And puffing, if you're puffing, you're out of breath. chop off the last letter, we can create the word we're looking for. And we've got a good chance now of getting 7 down. So let's have a look at this. 7 letters. Football Manager with 1 draw and a defeat. That's a brilliant clue. With Football Manager with 1 draw and a defeat. Oh, hang on. I've got to get this one. A Football Manager. You see, it's made slightly harder, this. It's probably easier if you know nothing about football. But if you do know things about football, and you know that the Times now allows references to real people to appear in the clues, then, you know, could this be a current football manager? It can't be. It can't be a reference to Fergie or something like that, can it? A Football Manager with 1 draw and a defeat. I think it's going to be a word for a defeat. A defeat is a... don't know. Okay, I'm going to go for 13 across. That was probably a bad... Oh, no, I have got this. Barely succeeded in project. Okay, this is tricky if you're new to cryptic crosswords, but not so bad if you're not. Now, the whole trick to this is knowing that succeeded, believe it or not, has a valid abbreviation. This must be from family trees, but S is a valid abbreviation for succeeded. There. So, let's read the clue again. Barely, S in project. So I need a 3-letter word for a project, and if something projects, it juts. So if I put S in jut, I can create just, and if something barely does something, it just does it. So this is failure. Why is it failure? Football Manager with 1 draw. Oh, I see. Oh, goodness, that's really clever. Right. So, of course, I went for Football Manager. I was thinking of Arne Slot, Alex Ferguson. I thought of Brian Clough. He wouldn't fit in. But actually, Football Manager here is the body that manages football. It's the FA, the Football Association. So you've got FA with 1. That's this one. The Roman numeral for the number 1 is I. And if you draw something towards you, you lure it, don't you? And a defeat is a failure. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant clue, and it gives us a chance. I'm trying to do this without looking at the clue. I just need to think of one word that fits. Bobbins, I don't know. Oh, 10 years. Okay. 90s? I don't know. Let's have a look. 8 letters. No German announced links for 10 years. Yeah, okay. So, often if you see references to other countries, particularly Germany and France, very occasionally Spain, you might see the Spanish, and that's always going to be L, because it is the Spanish word for the is L. But no German is saying, what is the German word for the word no? And it's nein, N-E-I-N. But that is announced. Now, if something's announced, it's something you hear. So that's telling us that we need a homophone for the word nine. And actually, therefore, we want the English spelling of the number 9, N-I-N-E. Links, if you have links to something, you have ties to them. And 10 years would be defined. The 90s were 10 years. They were a decade. And that, I think, is the solution to the puzzle. I'm just checking. It could be a pangram. There's a Q in there. There's a J in there. There's lots of V's. Is there a Z? I don't think so. I'm not certain. There's certainly some unusual letters in there. I can't see a Z, but I could be missing it. And anyway, let's click submit without leaderboard. We weren't racing. Let's hope we haven't made any typos, and we're all good. So that is how to solve Richard Browne's really, really good Times crossword today, with some wonderful clues. I liked Utah, failure. There was something down here. Ransomed was really clever. Yeah, it's just a very it's a lively puzzle with some great vocabulary and some beautiful ideas in it. And now, what I like to do, if you'll permit me, is I'll try and do a race through the quick cryptic to show you hopefully what's possible if you have a bit of experience. Let's see. By Teasel, not very well following one pattern. Oh, I don't know. Range displayed, not all put up. Shown or something. Oh, this is a terrible start. Full of ideas, make a fuss about 4. Inventive? Like creative? I'm not sure. Effect of Ulster, getting broke results. I'm doing this in a very strange order. Harbour, portal. Lack what proverbially increases affection. Absence? Maybe, I don't know. Makes the heart grow fonder. Gain keyless access, which may be concealed. Don't know. Picture of wizard on island. Image. Summary justice in the end. Precise, probably. Qualified people apart from Mike named. Don't know. Through which to view French city lens. Cut 2 parts of cardboard box. I don't know. Too bad. There's confused description of extinct feline. Oh goodness. Saber-toothed. That's going to be saber-toothed tiger. Not on deck. Below. Bellow without its middle. Islanders, New Zealanders. Let's go for that without actually reading the clue in the interests of speed. That's a bit risky. Under a cloud? What is that? Not very well. Car, fine one with adjustable seat. Fiesta. That's funny. After a fashion? Yeah, I think it's after a fashion. Inlet? Yeah, inlet. Bowl in hamper, hate it to be broken. Bowl. Oh, that's appalling. Range displayed. Range. Alps? Maybe, I'm not sure. Step across referee, the first to go in the book. Preface? Yes. Mother's new hot water bottle. Thermos. Arrive, reach, I'll go for without looking at it. Amphitheatre? Gosh, that's difficult. It's a very good anagram. Gain. Keyless access, which may be concealed. Cut. Oh no. Head in part for sacred space. I want that to be pulpit or something. I don't know. Dost ache, stretched to the maximum. What? What? Longest? I don't know. Like many modern devices, small with minute pictures, smart. Qualify. Oh, don't. I thought this was creative. Is it creative? Make a fuss if you create. Qualified people apart from Mike named. Entitled. Qualified people. I think qualified entitled, yeah. So this is going to be longest, I think. This is temple. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so cut 2 parts of cardboard box. Cut top side, 2 parts of a cut. Gain keyless access. Tap in. Yeah, maybe. There's a few in there. I mean, I've got lucky because I definitely didn't justify something. I didn't even read the clue for 7 down. I didn't understand the top and the side of a cardboard box. Seemed quite unusual. Tap in, I didn't understand. How is that working? Gain keyless access. Tap in, which may be concealed. Oh, conceded. A tap in on a golf course. You get given a putt. Now, how did longest work? Dost ache stretched to the maximum. Dost what? What does that mean? Dost ache. Hang on, I'm going mad. It's almost like I've forgotten the ability to read English. Dost... what? I don't understand that. This someone will have to explain that in the comments. 13 down, I don't get. 11, full of ideas, is creative. I mean, 4 is IV from the Roman numeral. Create, to make a fuss. It could just be make. To make is to create. Make a fuss. Do you create? When you make a fuss, you must do. Men title. I couldn't get clear in my mind what the definition was there, whether it was qualified or named. And Alps I wasn't too sure about. Displayed. Oh, it's a hidden reversal. In displayed, reversed is Alps. Fiesta made me laugh. Can't find one with adjustable seat. FI, and then the seat is adjusted. It's very clever. It really is. It might even... That's not a pangram, is it? There is a Z in it. Always be on the lookout for pangrams if you find the Z. Maybe the 2 puzzles together formed a pangram. Anyway, there we go. Teasel, thank you for that. Actually, where did I finish? Terrible. 440, 15th. Awful. Awful. Just awful. There's no other expression that would be appropriate. Dreadful. I'm ashamed. But hopefully some of you are still watching. If you are, please do consider liking the video and subscribing. YouTube doesn't like our crossword videos, but we love making them because the comments, frankly, that's why. It's the comments and the emails that we get about these videos. So do let us know if you are still enjoying them. We enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition, 2 more editions in fact, of Cracking the Cryptic.